Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I want to talk to you a little bit about why it's okay to make mistakes. And I want to normalize making mistakes as a human being and what we can actually do to take accountability and grow and learn and sort of how to shift our mindset so that we don't have to feel disempowered and like we're wilting if we made a mistake, and we definitely don't have to beat up on ourselves so much. So I just want to sort of shed some light on this topic. The very first thing I want to start by saying is you will never not make mistakes. And I know that's a double negative, but just like you will, as a human being, learn and grow. And as a general rule, the more you take risks in life and the more you push yourself slightly outside of your comfort zone, the more mistakes you're going to make. And that's a part of the process of learning. And I can't stress this enough. I think it's so easy to fall into this like perfectionism attitude and mindset and to really be difficult on ourselves and tough on ourselves when things aren't going the way we expected ourselves to have them go. But the reality is like every single moment that we spend beating ourselves up for making a mistake or being in resistance to the fact that we made a mistake, being upset about it, frustrated, angry, whatever it might be, we lose time that we could be moving towards a solution, growing, taking accountability. And because we all got conditioned in the punishment reward system, the system of, hey, you're punished for doing things wrong, rewarded for doing things right. This classical conditioning system produces this like lens of duality that we see the world through. And we get really like hooked into that. And it puts us, it sort of essentially trains us as a byproduct to look at mistakes as like, oh, now I'm worthy of punishment. And so because we usually get, we grow up in that system of conditioning, it's our subconscious comfort zone. So our subconscious is very likely to like reenact that system in the relationship to self. But when we take an honest, objective look at the idea of classical conditioning in the relationship to ourselves, and we watch almost in slow motion, like the steps of making a mistake in like one path versus another. On our first path, what you see is I make a mistake. I get angry at myself. I say, oh, I'm a loser. I'm an idiot. I can't believe I did this. My boss is going to fire me. Whatever stuff we do in our internal dialogue, which can be really cruel at times. And then we get lost in the story of how bad or unfit we are to live life. And that does nothing productive. And we don't punish ourselves into getting better. I think that we think that because we grew up in a system that taught that. And I'm not here to like say that that system was purely awful. Like obviously we needed to be socialized and like learn how the world works. And now we have different emerging models of conscious conditioning and different approaches to this stuff. But I'm not here to like tear apart the system. I'm just here to like shed light on the fact that you grew up in that system. This is going to be your lens. And one of the most important things we can do in the relationship to ourselves is learn how to stop perpetuating that system internally. And I want to look at the second path. Okay. So the other path is I make a mistake. Instead of beating myself up and getting lost in the internal dialogue of like, oh, why I did this and why I'm so awful. Instead, I'm like, okay, I recognize that I made a mistake. I own it. I want to look at the root cause. What was I thinking about right before I made the mistake? Or what was my really big unmet need that caused me to make that like knee-jerk response or jump into something head first or whatever it might be, or to just overlook something and make a mistake? What was going on? And I just inquire, I get really honest and clear, and I try to understand. And then I can have compassion towards myself if needed. If I'm like, okay, I was really afraid and that's why I made that mistake. Okay, I can see where I'm coming from a little bit. I can see myself and treat myself like a human, right? Just like if somebody else made a mistake and said, hey, I was really afraid, you would want to humanize it a little bit. And I don't mean like make everything okay that's not okay. I just mean like if you're beating yourself up for forgetting to turn something in at work, it's not going to help you, right? Like have an honest conversation with yourself, be compassionate, be kind in the relationship to yourself. So you can inquire, have some compassion, and then take accountability and be like, okay, so if the root cause was that I was afraid, I better work on reprogramming that fear that I had that led me to the mistake in the first place. If the root cause is that I'm really poor with boundaries and it led to me doing that thing or having that outcome, okay, I'm going to really work on my boundaries. If the root cause is that I never have enough time to myself because I'm always taking on too much, then okay, I have to correct that at the root so I don't recreate those patterns going on and on again long term. So I really want to stress that, like, when we get into this system, we think, oh, I have to punish myself or shame myself into being better. It's just destructive. It doesn't do anything for you. What does is us being able to take an honest look, stop distracting ourselves from being honest and taking a real look and getting to the bottom of things, because we're so busy giving ourselves a hard time. Get to the bottom, look objectively, see what really happened, see how you can have some compassionate accountability and take action, make a plan, create some strategies, put some action steps together for how you'll work to solve the root cause that led to that situation in the first place. So this is something I really, want to push and stress, and it's a really important dynamic. And if you want to go into doing a much deeper dive on this, a really powerful course that you can try for free for 7 days is the Reprogramming Chronic Guilt and Shame course. And if you find yourself in a position where you're constantly guilting yourself, shaming yourself, giving yourself a hard time, there's a really powerful step-by-step process in that course. It's a 5-step process, and it will actually help you first recognize where you're guilting and shaming yourself so much, and then have a really clear set of steps to reprogram that at the deepest possible level so that you don't keep running into these same dynamics over and over. And I want you to imagine, just as I close this out here for a second, if you never guilted and shamed yourself again, obviously we're not going to, may happen like from time to time, but like if you could diminish that by like 99%, but amp up your ability to like inquire, look at why you do what you do, create strategies, be accountable, have the conversation, say, your apologies if needed, but just become like hyper accountable and compassionate and curious, versus you don't change that and you keep beating yourself up and keep putting yourself down. And I just want you to think of like what happens on one side of life and what happens on the other, because these are really important things to be aware of. This is something I've worked on a lot in myself, and it's tremendously beneficial. And, some people will be like, what if you don't take accountability? You'll take more accountability because you will want to, and you'll be able to see stuff more clearly. So anyways, hopefully this makes a whole lot of sense. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And again, you can check out the Overcoming Reprogramming Guilt and Shame course by clicking the link in the description box below and searching that course and signing up there. And thank you. I'll see you in tomorrow's video.